All right, hello everybody. I'm sorry I could not be there today. This is Rachel of the past coming at you from Tuesday afternoon, and I am going to talk about behavior. So if you have worked at camp in the past, we have done behavior a little bit differently, and we are kind of changing things up this year. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is what behavior is. So I know a lot of times when we think about behavior in kids, we just think about the negatives or the bads or the things we don't want them to do. But in all reality, every action a child does is a behavior. So you can have what we call desired behaviors or undesired behaviors. So for example, let's say that you and your group are out at the park and you're getting ready to line up and come back to the school building. Let's say you say, all right, pink group, I need everyone to catch a bubble and have their eyes on me. Let's say 10 of your kids put that bubble in their mouth. What that means is that, you catch a bubble, and you're quiet, can't talk with a bubble in your mouth. So 10 of your kids catch that bubble, eyes are on you. They had a desired behavior. They followed the direction that you gave, and the behavior they had was one that you wanted and asked them to do. 2 of those kids are still talking to each other and are staring off into space. Those are undesired behaviors you didn't want them to do. So our goal at camp this year is that we are going to reward those desired behaviors and, to the point that we can, ignore the undesired behaviors. So in that specific situation, I would say, wow, I love how 10 of my friends have bubbles in their mouths and are looking at me ready to listen. If you do that, reward that desired behavior and ignore and not address the undesired behavior, 9 times out of 10, those other 2 kids are going to snap and be like, oh, I'm supposed to look at her and pay attention, and they'll catch that bubble and get their eyes on you. So what we really want to do is reward desired behaviors, ignore undesired behaviors. Now, there are going to be situations in which you cannot ignore those undesired behaviors, and that's what we'll kind of get into a little bit here. But looking at your sheet in your binder, our behavior management system, we're first going to talk about positive behavior management or desired behaviors. So rewarding those positive behaviors is key. So each group is going to come up with their own positive behavior system to use within their group. Some examples are a star or sticker chart, a tally chart, tickets. We will hand out a page that kind of talks about these, but with the younger ones, you could have a sticker chart where you have each kid's name and maybe there's 5 spots, and if they fill up all 5 spots, they get a sticker in all 5 spots in the day. They get a sucker at the end of the day. Or you have tally marks where you might have that same system, and if each kid gets 5 tallies in a day, they get a sucker at the end of the day, or they get some kind of reward. With the older kids, stickers and tallies aren't going to work as well. When I had older groups, I always did tickets. So I would have a roll of tickets, and I'd have like a big bag. And if a kiddo did something that was a desired behavior, I wanted to reward that, I'd write their name on a ticket, put it in the bag. And then on Friday, we would pull, 3 tickets, and those 3 people got a prize. Each group is expected to have a positive behavior system in place. This afternoon, when you guys go to get your, when you start making your schedules, and when staff or administration come around and talk about that stuff, they will ask you for your positive behavior system. So start thinking about what you might want to use. Once you know what level you're working with, you'll be able to kind of break that down a little bit easier, but just know that we will expect you to do that. In terms of our camp-wide behavior system, we did this a couple years ago. It worked out really well, so we're going to bring it back. Each group will have a gallon-sized plastic bag that they will carry with them throughout the day. Both admin and our specialist teachers will have cotton balls that they will have to hand out. They can give out a couple, they can throw a handful in there depending on how they're feeling that day when they see positive behavior. So when I was a specialist teacher, an example is, if a group did a really nice job listening and participating in my lesson, I would say, you know what, Orange group, I loved how you guys were paying attention, you guys were listening, you guys were participating. Here's a bunch of cotton balls, and I'd throw them in the bag, and they all get really excited. So each bag will have a line drawn across it, and once your bag fills up above that line, your group will get a prize. So examples of some of those prizes might be they might get popsicles or ice cream or double swimming or things like that. So that's what positive behavior systems are going to look like throughout camp. Remember that your group will need an individual positive behavior system, and we will have that camp-wide positive behavior system as well. So moving into negative behaviors or undesired behaviors, those can be broken down into questionable behaviors, disrespectful behaviors, unacceptable behaviors, and severe behaviors. You guys will look at that more in the next couple of pages. But do know that managing these behaviors is very, very circumstantial and differs based on the age range of the campers you're working with. You're not going to handle a situation with a 5-year-old the same way you would with a 12-year-old. And you as a staff member are not expected to have all the answers when it comes to managing challenging behaviors. That is something that I know people who have gone to college for many years to do, and they're still not perfect at it. I don't expect you guys as camp staff to be perfect at it. So don't stress about this too much. If you're unable to resolve a problem within your group, please call me or another member of the admin team, and I will be happy to come help out with the situation and take over if necessary. But basically, this little line on the bottom kind of looks at this perfectly. So when dealing with camper behavior, your main priority is their safety and well-being. So if a kiddo is doing something, they're having an undesired behavior, they're starting to, freak out or break down or whatever, they are not being safe. And your first priority is keeping them safe and keeping the rest of your campers safe. So if they're compromising the safety or well-being of themselves, another camper, or the group, intervention is required. And that's going to look different depending on the situation. It's hard because we're not having, in years past, we've had a system where we gave out strikes or we gave out, warnings or whatever. We're going to kind of go away from that and take this on in a more case-by-case basis. But basically, safety, and the two big things are you're here for these kids to be safe and you're here for them to have fun. So if they're not safe and they're not having fun, you need to intervene to change that somehow. And that's going to look different depending on the situation. So for example, if we go back to that example I gave in the beginning, if you're with Pink Group, so they're 6-7 years old and someone's not listening and paying attention, and you say, I love the way that most of my friends caught their bubble and have their eyes on me, and one of those students is still not listening. Teacher world. One of those campers is still not listening. You can say, Jessica, I gave you a direction to catch a bubble and put your eyes on me. You're not following that direction. You're breaking a camp rule. I need you to look at me. It's stuff as simple as that. You don't want to come down too hard on them. You don't want to, freak out. But what I always do is state the camp rule that the child is breaking, and, tell them the direction that you gave them that they're not following, and tell them that you need them to do that because here at camp we follow directions. We follow the camp rules. With an older camper, so if you have let's say you have Red Group and you have a 12-year-old and your 12-year-old is, giving you a little bit of attitude, I might say something like, we don't do that at camp. Or, things as simple as that's enough are going to work. So that's what I have for you guys. If you have any questions, Jessica and Sarah are great resources for this. And I will definitely be around. I'm going to kind of be the one who leads the behavior charge this year. So if you have any questions about how to deal with camper behaviors, please reach out to me. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions, ask Sarah and Jessica because I'm not there to answer them.